welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I pray you're well in all your ways and that you are living your best life. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, fam. Go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Thanks to every single person that supports us through our Patreon and our PayPal accounts. Love you for your support. A lot of things happening. As you know, we've also started the Dr. Mumbi Live. I see you guys subscribing to that. Go ahead and do that. That's where we're going to be doing more of our live shows and more of our shows on, you know, everything to do with Africa that you guys have been asking me for a long time. Now, man, this story just got me upset. So recently, Macron actually held the second Paris Peace Forum in Paris, and he, on the first day of the conference, a team of like 50 scholars, NGOs, and just, you know, activists, human rights, all those guys, right? All of them put together, actually sent Macron a letter, an open letter, and this has made like international headlines. You know how they love to do these media blitzes. Always notice the stories they promote, always saying that it was urging France to take action against Cameroon's Anglophone crisis. It's so embarrassing. Are we still there? I mean, is France still the master of Cameroon? Obviously. I mean, Biya, did you even see him arriving at the conference? It's so embarrassing. He looks like he's on his last leg. Even Macron wanted to help him along. You can see that there. But now, so, you know, the second Paris Peace Forum, basically, I told you, his agenda is the New World Order. And I've told you guys there's a secret, there's a secret society war going on between, the Trump guys, who are all about nationalism, kind of pulling back from the global, the global system, global policing, global government. And then we have people like Macron who are the ambassadors, literally, of the, New World Order, Antichrist themselves. And so notably absent at this event was the divided states. Notably present was China. China actually sent their vice president, and the big talk was how nationalism is war, and Macron made it very clear, and this was seen as an obvious jab at the divided states, but one that Africa should also pay very close attention to. Because basically what he was saying is that nationalism was not the way to go, saying that, the world had tried that option in the past, it had failed, and nationalism was basically war. I hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. You see what he's saying? Africa, you need to pay attention, because now we want to pull back, right? We want to pull back from the world. We want to create, like, even if it's just regional powers, regional communities, you see, nationalism is war. What do you think is going to happen with regionalism if they're not involved? And I think that's why a lot of people are very uneasy about who's behind, the withdrawing of the CFA funds from France. Is France still have a hand in it? Who's behind the new eco-currency? It looks like it will actually be based on the French franc or the euro or whatever. But these are the things we must pay attention to. Now, 30 heads of states attended. There were also entrepreneurs, activists, etc. All of them seeking ways to address global challenges. A lot of the big hitters were there. Merkel was there, a couple of African presidents, Central African Republic, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Biya was also there. I think, what's this guy's name? The Democratic Republic of Congo, Tshisekedi. He was also there. But the embarrassing thing is, like, are we still looking to the West? And you see, actually, the person who recommended this was the West. But are we really still looking to the West as our savior? Because this sounds like a whole white savior complex. And the thing is, it was done by a Mzungu called Rebecca Tinsley. She's a founder of an NGO called Waging Peace. And she said, basically the government of Cameroon is using its own soldiers to fight the war on terror on behalf of the global North. It's the case of Cameroonian armed forces being a militia for hire. And when you see Biya barely able to climb up the stairs, do you really think he's the one behind the government? And I mean, it's crazy how these African presidents love France and love Macron. It's just so insane. And when you look at the difference between West Africa and East Africa, just in terms of development, it's just like, what are these people smoking? And anyway, we need to end this stuff where we're asking like our former colonial masters to come in and intervene. What kind of madness is that? We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going, guys? Really pray you're well. Really pray you're just doing absolutely fabulous in your life and that all is just going so smoothly for you. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to the channel. You guys are amazing. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't, guys, go ahead and hit that like button as well. So now, the second Paris Peace Forum took place, and the highlight, one of the major highlights, was the fact that these group of international scholars, human rights activists, and they're not even saying, were they black, were they white? We want to know, is it our African people so we can rebuke them and, you know, give them a hot slap? Madness. Or is it Muzungus trying to, you know, regurgitate the same nonsense? And that's what it looks like here. Rebecca Tinsley is the author behind this. And, you know, there has actually been a lot of drama for the last 2 years in Cameroon. I've talked about it several times, how, you know, in 2017, basically, the Anglophone region in the southwest and the northwest actually wanted to kind of separate itself. And so a separatist movement started, them saying they want their own state called Ambazonia, because as much as there's an Anglophone and Francophone dimension to Cameroon, the Francophone have tried to suppress the Anglophone. It's crazy. So, suppressing one colonial tongue over another. I mean, we're crazy. I swear, global Africa, man. I mean, you guys need to start waking up and styling up. You know, so there's been this whole withdrawal movement, but we know that, you know, Biya is a French puppet, fully. And so we saw him being protected, even though, you know, there may be evidence that of mass murder and mass destruction by the, you know, and very dehumanizing kind of attacks on the Anglophone areas. We saw it especially during the election. Basically, no Anglophone, you know, county or community was spared. Very few of them voted, where we might as well have seen a change. But he is a puppet, and maybe that's why you're seeing a group of scholars and writers and human rights advocates and all these people actually writing a letter to Macron, because I guess for them, Macron's the one who's president of Cameroon. That's how you should read this. Cameroonians, what are you guys doing? That's how you should read this, you know. And no one has really wanted to get involved, which is what this article, the letter was also saying. And it said, you know, since 2017, no one has wanted to mediate. Everyone has kind of let it go on. You know, the French not really doing anything to stop it, because, you know, they are heavily involved in the Sahel desert. Whether destabilizing or try to create stability, that's for you to decide. We know what's up. But they've been there, and they've kind of allowed Biya to continue, even though he's like, I don't want to say he's on his deathbed, but he doesn't look like someone who can run a country, really. I mean, it was his, anyway, let me not hate, like, let me not be rude. You know, in June 2019, Switzerland, of all countries, very, very rare, offered to mediate the crisis. And the reason they did, I did a story on this, because Biya had gone to Biya had gone to Geneva and stayed at one of the most like poshest hotels in the city, right on the lake. And I think they'd taken like 3 floors. And the Cameroonians, both in Geneva and from neighboring cities and neighboring countries, actually came. And there was a huge demonstration because they wanted to go to the hotel and kick Biya out and tell him to go back to Cameroon. So there was a huge back and forth, and the Swiss riot police had to get involved. People were water cannoned, people were tear gassed. It was a mess. And somehow, there was a Swiss media guy who was beaten up by Biya's security. It was totally embarrassing. And of course, who do you think is going to pay for that bill of the ambulance and the Swiss police coming out? You think the Swiss are going to cover that? But you could kind of see why they stepped up and said, "Yo, let's try and mediate this thing." But apart from that, it's kind of just been never ending. And the letter talked of a disturbing and disappointing silence from the international community. And it's very clear that France is basically, because of their strong military and business links with Cameroon, they are the reason the Biya's government is even still afloat. And of course they don't want to get that, because it's all, guys, it's all chess. You know what I mean? Africans are busy playing checkers. Guys are playing chess because can't even talk. Chess, guys. Anyway, I'm just so sick and tired of seeing these global, these such headlines making global, being seen everywhere. We're still begging the Western man to come